Healing to Building with the Divine and Mother Restorā'āh. Hello, 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 my beautiful people. Okay, so we are about to get started. Alright, y'all gonna see me looking on two different screens because I'm live on one and on my channel on one, my podcast, and then I'm also recording it as well for my other social site until we get a new program. Alright, y'all, so let's get started. Alright, hold up, y'all. I'm about to go back live on the other one. Alright, we up and running. Alright, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this lighting better on this one, like this one. But we'll figure it out later. Anyway, alright, so hello, 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 my beautiful people. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. You're gonna see me looking back and forth on both screens because I'm recording on one and I'm live on another. So we're about to jump into our kicking off our 2026. I haven't come to you guys this year with a new message, and that's because I wanted to wait until I got the okay confirmation in order to be able to move forward, with a new message for the new year. As we know, the new year does not kick off until March, you guys. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, y'all. Alright. Alright, so the new year begins March the 20th or the 21st, depending on your time zone. So I wanted to be able to, get this to y'all before March. We on February the 6th. So we do got time for me to be able to give y'all this message. Y'all to be 10 steps ahead. We do not operate off of the Gregorian calendar, you guys. We do not operate off of the Gregorian calendar. We operate off of the cosmic and natural calendar. So please keep that in mind. The new year begins on March the 20th through the 21st. It just depends on your time zone, which begins in the spring equinox or the vernal equinox, whichever you guys want to go by there. So our new year over here begins March the 20th and March the 21st. It just depends on what time zone you're in. Okay? This is gonna put you in alignment with the natural flow of Mother Gaia, the natural flow of Mother Gaia, the natural flow of the universe in its frequencies, time zone, and the consistencies of the timeline that you would want your higher consciousness of self to be operating off of. So I just wanted to put that in perspective for you guys. I'm still ahead of the game, which is why y'all probably like, why she didn't come on, to give us the message for the new year. I do not give messages for the new year on January the 1st. That is going off of the Gregorian calendar, which is the Roman calendar. We do not go off of that. We go by the natural calendar that goes back to ancient civilizations. and we're going to get in alignment with that. And we're going to kick off our message about the universal year of 1. Y'all know 2025, we left off in the year of the 9, the frequency of the 9, which was for 9 ether beings. I told y'all that it was very imperial for 9 ether beings to step up and to do the work that was necessary. 2024, 2023, let me go back. I'm going to go back some time, and I'm going to recap the past 2 years, so that way going into this 3rd year, you guys will have some introspection as to why I'm telling you this information, so that way you can come into full covenancy of what it is that Elohim is trying to do in your life, what he is trying to have you be in support of and be guided by going into your new season, right? Okay, so as we move forward, we're going to talk about 2023. I started off with y'all in 2023. I got the nudge to come into a new phase of life for myself, to be able to teach others, to be able to guide others, give support to others who are looking for a change in life, who are looking to transform and transcend the mundane, to get out of the matrix, right? And to be able to get back into the natural frequency of the universe, of Mother Gaia, the timeline for which our higher consciousness of self should be operating off mind, body, and spirit, in order to be able to receive a higher calling from the Father, to know what it is that your mission is, your purpose is, your God-given purpose is here on Mother Gaia, in order for you to be able to be fully in alignment, to be able to receive these divine messages from the divine, okay? Alright, whether it be the Father, Elohim, the Supreme Creator, whether it be your light forces having to do with your ancestors, having to do with your guardian angels, whatever it may be in that spectrum, and also Holy Spirit and Yeshua, just being in alignment with your walk. And when I say Yeshua, I mean the Christ consciousness of Yeshua, following the righteousness of mind, body, and spirit when it comes down to taking care of your temple, taking care of your vessel and your soul, guiding your soul in the right direction in order to be able to go through the proper channels of evolution in order for you to become whoever it is that you are supposed to become, to do what you're called to do here on Mother Gaia, right? Alright, so I kicked that off in 2000, like around October of 2023, and we went on like this big purge of like just getting rid of anything that was a burden, anything that was blocking, anything that was not benefiting our higher consciousness of self, in order for us to receive exponential blessings and an exponential rate of success, right? So in order to do that, we had to remove what did not serve us. So we took some time in doing that. I went through laying down the foundational principles in order for you to be guided through the cultivation phases and the cultivation season of becoming who you are called to be. And that's on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level, right? Alright. Now, y'all might see this light go on and off, y'all. I'm sorry. It's been tweaking. But look, I just want to let y'all know. I know what's going on. But so y'all going to see the light and go in and out. But we ain't got time to mess with that, because I got to get this message out. And before I really start, we started around like 10 o'clock. We probably started about like 10:15. About 10:10. I'm going to say 10:10 p.m. But right now, yeah, we started about 10 p.m. Because, yeah, we had 9:47 on the clock. So we started around like 10:09 p.m. This is Central Time. So keep that in mind, y'all. 10:10. I'm just going to write. You're going to be seeing a lot of 11-11, 12-12, 1-1, 1-1-1. You're going to be seeing a lot of that over the next 6 months, I'm hearing. The next 6 months, you're going to be seeing a lot of those numbers, so keep that in mind. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is the year frequency of universal frequency 1, meaning we coming back into the year of divine initiation, starting back off into a place where we are able to initiate, begin, reset, and cultivate our leadership skills. And these are things that I've already actually was going over with y'all in the past few videos that I ended off in 2025. And like I said, when I always end off a year and I say what needs to be said in that year, I know if I'm still in alignment with the Father based off of what I said prior to me even going into the next season. That's how you know if somebody is in alignment with the Father. If for any reason they speak on something and then they speak on something ahead of time before it actually happens, not when it's happening because it already has happened, it's already in the happening. No, before it has happened. And when I say this means that you guys need to grasp the ideal of being ahead of the game, being 10 steps ahead. So I already told y'all about, we already was talking about leadership skills, taking initiative, learning how to speak for yourself, learning how to carry yourself, learning how to develop oneself, learning how to be able to position oneself and to be able to stand alone if need be and to handle your own until the divine sends you help along your way. Because it's one thing for you to talk about what you can do. It's one thing for you to be able to do something because you got a helping hand in doing it. But it's a whole nother thing when you get it out the mud by yourself. So a lot of people that got it out the mud by themselves, they understand what it means to have to go through those seasons and the phases of cultivation. Cultivating oneself into the becoming of who you are meant to be, what you are meant to do, and how you are meant to do it, right? Okay, so 2023, we went through the phase of getting rid of what no longer serves us. 2024 introduced us to something new that presented accountability on our behalf. Accountability on our behalf to show up, to be consistent, to not falter, to stay steady, stay observant, stay present, and to continue to do the work, do the inner work of being introduced to our shadow selves, right? And we talked a lot about in 2024 the introduction of the shadow self, because yeah, you want to get rid of stuff, you want to unburden yourself with the things that do not serve your higher calling, do not serve your higher self, but you also have to be real with yourself and also be real with others at the same time, and understand that just like you may want to do away with certain relationships, you may want to do away with certain habits, you would want to do away with a certain mindset, you may want to do away with false promises, inadequate leadership, whatever it may be, mentorship, whatever it may be that you wanted to unburden yourself with. trauma, childhood trauma, whatever it may be, in order for you to do that, you also have to look at yourself and see what it is that you have to change about yourself that is seen in a darker light. Now, all of us have this darker light that exists, this shadow that exists, this darkness that exists. And in order for you to confront this shadow, you have to really be honest and really real with yourself and really want to change. That's why you cannot make nobody change anything in regards to themselves until they're ready to make a change on their own, right? So all you can do is continuously be in control of what Elohim gave you control over, what the universe allowed for you to have control over, and to work with what you have and to work on yourself. Because the more you work on yourself, the more the frequency, the more in alignment you will be with the universe's frequency in order for you to be able to output the ideal of what it is that you're trying to manifest and to call into your manifold. It's like an automatic thing. But you have to become that of what you're asking for. You cannot ask for something that you have yet to become. You have to become it first and then call it into your manifold. And it automatically happens simultaneously as you do the work, right? As you do the work. So when you dream big, you would know it's a lot of accountability that comes with big dreams. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with big dreams. You can't just have big dreams and don't have no follow-up behind it. And especially, you have to take it into account of your support system. What type of support system you have. And that will also determine the type of output that you have to put in as well. Because not everybody is given the same type of support system. And sometimes that means that it may be more work that has to be done on your end in order for you to be able to follow through with executing certain goals that you may put in place and that you may have for yourself, for your family, whatever it may be. Okay? So 2024, we met our shadows. We reflect, we went into introspection, in hindsight, we went over what was working, what wasn't working, how we move on for that, how we made changes, whatever we needed to do. That's what we went over in 2024. The introduction of the shadow self and how to deal with the shadow self, make changes within the shadow self in order for us to still show up in our fullest light, in order for us to be able to operate within our higher consciousness of self, mind, body, and spirit. Alright? Alright. So, 2024, we did that. 2025, I told y'all this was going to be a year of isolation. Like, a year of isolation. It even went into the year. Like, 2025, for it being the year of the 9, which is the year of 9 ether beings, a year, when I say 9 ether beings, it means spiritual enlightened individuals. It called for isolation because of the introspection that has to be done within, with your inner self. Because the inner self needed to most definitely connect with Mother Nature. 2025 was a year of you connecting with Mother Nature in order for you to connect back to your truest self, for you to connect with who Elohim created you to be, what is being called of you by your ancestors, and what your light guides, what Holy Spirit was trying to reveal to you in regards to where it is that you were going in your next season, right? In your next season. And in order for you to get this calling, you had to actually be 100% in your calling. Meaning that you couldn't be outside of yourself. You do have times and seasons and phases of life throughout, meaning that you had to connect most definitely with your spirit man. And because you had to connect with your spirit man, it required for you to go deeper into depth about who you were becoming, and also keeping in alignment the things that we had all, the inner work that we had already done, while also taking the time out to do more work in regards to connecting back with Mother Nature, connecting back with your ancestry, connecting back with your roots, connecting back with who you are at your core, who your ancestors are, where you come from, connecting with the land, with the resources, with agriculture, learning more about self-preservation, learning more about being able to simultaneously manifest all that is that you are calling into your manifold, while also just allowing things to flow naturally, not forcing anything. You see what I'm saying? Not forcing anything. It was a very pivotal year for enlightenment. Enlightenment in education, enlightenment in resources, enlightenment in your knowledge, and enlightenment in I want to say enlightenment and restoration, meaning enlightenment in being restored, rejuvenated, being, well, I want to say remembered, but not so much as remember, but reinvented. That's the best word I could ever say. Reinvented. Because you're not who you were before. You're not who you were before. You had to shed so many layers in the process, but you had to shed even more layers at a more rapid rate. 2024, right? Because that was an accelerated year, 2024. I think, was that the year of Aquarius or something like that? I believe, I'm not too sure. But 2024, rapid year, everything was accelerated. It was moving at a rapid rate, so you was just shedding your old identity of self. 2025, it got to a point where it was like, dang, I shed so much, now I have so much space. Remember, because we were trying to make space for the new. I have so much space that is now empty, and you begin to ask these questions again to yourself. It brought you back to the place of being enlightened and allowing yourself the space to be able to be enlightened, not from a egotistical or prideful place of how everything is systematically created within Mother Gaia in its hierarchical systems that they have in place, having to do with monetary and material gain. This is everything except everything aside from that, right? It has to do with being rich in spirit, being rich in knowledge of who you are at your core when you don't have anything attached to it that has to do with money, material. You see what I'm saying? And to still have the confidence to be able to say, yeah, I'm valuable, I'm worthy, I'm enough, I'm more than enough. I am exceedingly abundantly blessed in all of these different areas, aside from my money, aside from the material blessings that I receive or don't receive, whatever it may be. I'm not counting those blessings. I'm counting the blessings of me being mentally agile, being able to think on my feet, being able to think fast, being able to sit down and still have the ability to be able to comprehend and to break down very complex knowledge and information, and to be able to learn a new skill, a new trade, a new trait that is going to be a positive reinforcement in my life. You see what I'm saying? These type of things, like being able to take cyclic behavioral patterns and to be able to reconstruct them in a way that allows for you to be able to excel, to be able to operate at a higher consciousness of self, mind, body, and spirit. And this type of living outside of the matrix, it calls for a lot of self-reflection, a lot of inner work, a lot of confidence reinforcers, because this is not the norm. 2025, 2026, I was already telling y'all this in 2024. This is not the norm. This is not what people do in this day and time. You ask somebody a question about who they are, and you take away, don't tell me about your accomplishments. Don't tell me about your accolades. Don't tell me about these things that you have accomplished and achieved in the material world. Tell me about who you are at your core, your spirit, when all of that is stripped away, when all of that is taken from you. Tell me who you are and who you can be, even if you did have the material success and the monetary gains. You see what I'm saying? Even if you had those things, tell me how you act aside from it. Or is your attitude, your behavior patterns, your outlook on people, your outlook and perspective on life is based off of just everything surrounded around it? How much value do you place on these two aspects? Because it gives you more introspection, more inner knowing as to how deep you are in this matrix, in this matriotic system that has been created by these hierarchical elitists in order to keep you stuck on a soul level from being able to come to a place of being able to evolve on a soul level to a place that is beyond the 3D, the third dimensional world. It's so many different dimensions out here. But you won't be able to experience those dimensions if you are grounded in this material world. You have to become more than the material. And in order for you to do that, you have to strip yourself of the material. Not many people can do that. Most of their family systems, the value systems that has been created through familial backgrounds and generations, whatever it may be, is constructed around monetary, material success. Right? So, how does one separate themselves from something that is embedded within? It's like a computer system where you have to go through and you have to delete. You have to erase all memory of the past. And that And that DNA of memorial composition is genetically passed down through generation, just like trauma. It's passed on through generation, even with sexual disorientation, passed down from generation to generation. People don't understand that these things is embedded in the DNA. Nothing is just because. And these is a lot of the conversations that we began to have with each other in 2024. And it was hard for a lot of people to really have these conversations or to stay present in these conversations, because a lot of it has to do with the real. And people don't want to face the real. People always want to make an excuse for why something is or why something isn't. It can't be what it is. There's always an excuse. There's always a but, because when something doesn't make sense to someone else, when there's no comprehension there, when there's no way for you to be able to connect the dots, there is where the excuses come. And these are fault lines. Fault lines that exist through generation. And a lot of people like to talk about the surrounding political just of things. And that's not the root of the problem. That's not the root of the issue. And that is a divergent of thought that sends you along these processes of not being able to really process the real, process the emotions, process the root, process the issue, to come to a actual solution that will address what it is that you may be experiencing in your life and how to uproot it, right? And how to uproot it. This is work that will go on from the day that you're born until the day that you die, but it's very imperative that you just try to do the work. This is not about perfection. I'm going to say this again, this is not about perfection, right? This is not about perfection at all. It's about the divine initiation. In order for the divine to initiate anything in your life, you have to be in alignment. You have to be on a road to being in alignment. You have to be able to fall in line with the natural flow of life, the natural vibration of life. Let me say it that way. Because if you are off the vibration, you miss your timeline, which means that you are operating off a timeline that is not yours. It's possibly your mother's. It's possibly your father's. It's possibly your sister's. It's probably your great-grandma. It's probably your great-grandfather. Why? Because these are timelines that exist within your DNA. It's passed down from time and time again. And these DNA, these genetics, right, that is passed down through your DNA. I call them incontingencies. I call them incontingencies because it does not represent who you were called to be, but it is a factor of life. I don't know why Holy Spirit is telling me to say it that way, and I'm gonna touch back on it later, because I know anytime Holy Spirit tells me to say something a certain way, it's because it's going to be revealed as to why I'm saying it this way. It is a factor of life. So when I say these incontingencies is within your DNA, and I consider them to be a factor of life, not so much in alignment with your higher calling, is because there is a lesson that you need to learn that is still relevant and keep coming up in your biological makeup, right? It keeps coming up because you haven't learned the lesson, and your family haven't learned the lesson. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna give y'all an example of it this way, because I feel like this will help. You know how, because y'all see everything from a surface level. Y'all, a lot of people see a lot of things from a surface level view. So, you know how a family, right? They could be at one level materially, monetarily, right? They could be at one level. But somebody in the family makes a sacrifice to level the family up monetarily or materially to another level that the family wasn't at before, which causes the family to be able to have a higher status socially and economically when the next generation comes. Because most of the time when a sacrifice is made on a monetary or on a material level, the person that's making that sacrifice normally don't see those blessings. It's the next generation that sees the blessings of the sacrifices that was made by the family member, you know, from a generation before them. And they get to reap the reward of those sacrifices, and that becomes a blessing. This is a generational blessing, but it's also can be a generational curse that has been broken as well. Poverty is considered to be a generational curse. Elohim never created for any family to have to beg or barter for anything. Beg or barter for anything. But because of how this economy is set up, everything is based off of social elitism, right? And these constructs that they've created is based off of social elitism and economic gain. A lot of them has had a foothold in creating this economic success, this economic, what they call overflow, where they have it excessively. And because of this, right, those of us who belong to a generation who are far, far behind in line with hopping on the train to economic increase and success, material abundance, it hits different. I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but I'm gonna just go with it. It hits different for us. And we spend in excess because it's about trying to prove what you have, what you achieve, what you accomplish. So we tend to wear our